Welcome to this week's GeekStorm. This week we're going to discuss several comic books. We're going to discuss the winter finale of The Walking Dead. We're also going to discuss the last part of the Hunger Games movie franchise, as well as Creed, as well as whatever else comes to our head this week on GeekStorm. On Geek. Hey everybody, I'm Sean Hilton, and this next to me is Michael Allen Harrison, and I am the Willy Wonka of Geek, and this is my favorite Oompa Loompa, and he'll be helping me out today, because, well, Oompa, Oompa, Oompa-dee-doo, Mike's right here, and he's gonna help you get your geek on.
Wow. Wow.
Is that right?
Yeah, can we start now? Because I'm sure that's not going to make the cut.
That was perfect. It's awesome. So, let's get right into it. Everything we're going to talk about is filled with spoilers.
What?
Why? Because none of this is filmed the day of, and we're telling you it's filled with spoilers.
You said it right. You said it right that time.
Let's just jump right into it. The newest thing to hit the street, and we'll go back a little further, is the new Superman versus Batman Dawn of Justice trailer that's just hit. And I have just watched it mere minutes ago, because you forced me to watch it before we did it, so you'd have something cool to talk about. So let's talk about it.
All right.
It was about 3 minutes long.
Approximately.
It was well filmed. It was lit well. Cavill looks good as Superman.
Sure he does.
Affleck not only looks good as Batman, but finally, somebody sounds halfway decent doing a gravelly voiced Batman that's not Kevin Conroy. Ben Affleck has brought the Batman voice that I think, in just a couple of clips, we didn't hear a lot of it, but I heard enough to know that that sounded so much superior than that last English wanker that just completely destroyed any semblance of reality that Batman would ever have.
Here's how good it was.
We had to have listened to that crap.
I didn't even think about it. That's how good I think it was, because I didn't go, oh, he's doing the Batman voice. So that was great. I didn't even notice that.
It was a little deeper, it was a little gravelly, but it wasn't I smoked 12 packs of Marlboros, chewed on some glass, and then, sang some punk.
Sure.
So I was happy with that. I thought we saw them both in their civilian identities. We saw them both in their superhero personas, and it felt right. It looked good.
Yeah.
They even gave us at the very end of the video a little clip of Wonder Woman.
Right.
And she looked really good.
She stole the show.
So good for her, and good for the it's a movie that out of all the superhero movies coming out, I have the least interest in.
Yeah, I was the same way. Although I was really excited when I watched the trailer this morning. That's probably the first time I've actually had a desire to see more of what's going on with this movie. I do have a couple nitpicky things. I wish Superman was taller than Batman. I wish Clark Kent was taller than Bruce Wayne. I don't know why. That's just how I see it in my head. He's probably.
But he can always just a couple inches off the ground and be taller.
Sure. Maybe not as Clark, but he could do it.
And when he does the hover thing, he always has his hands out down a little bit. It always makes him look very streamlined and tall when he does the hover.
Here's going to be the worst part of this movie for me, and I can tell you.
So we're not going to talk about the good stuff yet. We're just going to go straight to the negative stuff.
You were talking about good stuff.
Okay. Let's go straight to that negative stuff.
Well, let's just throw that out, and then we can talk about. We can gush over it a little bit more, but. I'm going to hate Jesse Eisenberg in this movie. I'm going to hate this Lex Luthor.
Now, do you like Jesse Eisenberg in other things?
I think he's awesome. I thought he was great in the Facebook movie.
I like him in the Facebook movie. Social media, was it social?
Social justice.
Social justice. And I also liked him in Zombieland.
Yes.
Now I have made jokes for years that he is the Michael Cera replacement guy. Is that the right guy? The comedian?
I know who you're talking about.
I think that they're very similar styles and even a similar look.
Sure.
And Michael Cera was coming on fairly strong. Then he did some bad caveman comedy with Jack Black and just deep sixed his career.
Yeah,
and then Eisenberg came up out of that.
Yeah.
This
to me is Eisenberg and or whoever's running the show trying to create an awesome, memorable villain like Jokers we've seen, okay? And now, and you probably know more about this than me, so revel in this because
revel in this.
I don't think Lex Luthor is supposed to be some kind of psychotic, some type of off the.
Well, I believe by the technical definition of psychotic, he probably is, but he is not the Joker. He is not a Gotham bad guy. He is not an over-the-top, costumed villain making a show of himself and a spectacle. He is not out there for that. He is a businessman
exactly.
first.
That's what I remember him as.
A very focused and realized plan that he follows to fruition to get what he wants.
This is a guy that's got a lot of money. Let's call it Donald Trump, and wants to take over the world. Let's call it Donald Trump. So he uses that money to buy, make, do things so that he can beat Superman. That's his deal. He doesn't like Superman for whatever reason. Probably because he's opposed. Superman opposes what he does. It doesn't matter. Eisenberg and this movie is playing this as more like the Riddler or the Joker.
He is playing a characterization.
Yeah, I do not like it.
Over the top, stereotypical. Old school Batman villain from.
This won't kill the movie. It won't kill the movie for me, but I didn't like it at all. It was like things that take you out of a movie when something is so bad, and that did it for me.
He is cracking jokes. He is being nonchalant. He is being out there in a flamboyant manner, which doesn't evoke the bald-headed, power business suit wearing badass that I expect to see in walking into a room filled with huge CEOs and going, "You're fired, you're fired, you're fired," and I slept with your wife and killed your family, and this just right around the thing.
I'll just say that
he's walking in and like, "Hey, Mike, how are you doing, buddy?"
Eisenberg's
just didn't work.
Accountant probably is so happy that he took this movie. Eisenberg as the artist, as an actor, he should have said no, knowing if he knew that this is what they wanted, because man, they so meticulously made this awesome Superman and made this awesome Batman, and then this is my idea what Lex Luthor is, and they threw that in there. So I don't want to dwell on too much. Other than that, the trailer was fantastic. I was super excited about it. Everything about it I liked. There was a little bit of a kitschiness to some of the dialogue between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, almost that nod to the viewer a little too much, and I didn't like that quite so much. But once we got into it,
there's a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
I'm Batman, and I'm going to make several references and things like that. Also, one of the highlights of the trailer at the very end in the credits, and even on a little screen I was able to see it, it is Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger.
Right.
That's something you've never seen on the Batman work before. I think Gotham might have started using that tagline recently.
I think this year.
This is a gentleman who did create Robin, did create the Joker, did create almost everything that's iconic about Batman was not created by Bob Kane.
Right.
It was created by Bill Finger, but he's not gotten the credit for it due to legalizations. And Bob Kane, out of all the creators in the world, had the foresight to have a really good lawyer.
Yes.
He's one of the few guys that got credit from the very beginning for his creation. And Bill Finger has been left in the sidelines a long time. So it was really exciting for me, just that little bit, to see his name. Wonder Woman was cool. Seeing that for me was really cool. So excellent stuff. Now, on to The Walking Dead mid-season, or as we call the winter finale. Now, we will be without Walking Dead till February,
2.5 months. February 14th, I think.
This would have been a perfect place to put maybe a new zombie show like Fear the Dead, which didn't get renewed.
No, they're not going to. If they're not going to show a popular show during the holidays, they're not going to show a show that they're trying to try out or that they're trying to gain an audience with during the holidays. I still don't understand and or agree with any of the shows going away for the holidays, because I don't watch TV at 8 p.m. on a Friday night, okay, when the show comes on. I don't think hardly anybody does anymore.
DVRs and digital and Hulu and all that have changed the way we watch TV. However, it gives the shows the ability to go longer into the year. Otherwise, you'd have your 24 episodes, they'd be over and done, like a Netflix thing, and then the studios would be having to put on more television. It would cost them more money in the long run. But regardless of that, so we've got on our last fix of The Walking Dead for quite some time.
Right.
We've had, 8, 9 episodes?
Let's see, there's 16 altogether, so probably 8 would be my guess,
okay.
but I don't know.
And during that, we have seen an entire half season based around one stupid-ass plan that didn't work. everything except for the wolves attacking the compound. Everything that has happened this season comes from one stupid plan, and that is my problem. The show itself is great. The acting, for the most part, is great. The storytelling, the dramatics, all of that is stuff that I love. But I still can't get over the fact that every single thing that I see was based on what was obviously a poorly written thing in a writer's room, and not something I still don't believe any of the characters, Rick, anybody would have gone, this is what we're going to do. I don't believe it. And so, you know how you talk about you were taken out of a movie. I've been taken out of an entire series because of poor planning and bad writing. Now, I can't change that. So, last we talked, which was a couple weeks ago, you had a great theory about Glenn. Completely wrong. None of it right whatsoever.
That's why they call them theories.
However,
it doesn't matter.
The one thing that should have happened, because Glenn walked away scot-free.
As far as we know.
Nothing, we've seen no sign that he's been, I thought maybe later on, we still might see that he got bit.
Maybe.
But it's been too long.
He's not acting like it.
And he's acting absolutely fine. We saw how fast the chicken Alexandria turned. And so he has not been bit. But he also didn't learn a damn thing. The whole aspect that I took away from this was that the guy he was with, who screwed him over, and he cautiously forgave him, cautiously went back out, ends up getting in a jam, taking his own life, and getting Glenn almost killed. So, from that, the very next scene, after he gets out alive, he does the exact same thing. He goes to a little girl who clearly does not want his help. In fact, is probably, honestly, better off without his help. She has survived much better on her own than she has in Alexandria.
You can't survive on your own anymore.
Yes, she can. And it proves that I think it'll be the exact opposite with this. Glenn is going to eventually fall and die because he can't learn to just let people be. You know what? Some people don't want to be saved.
She's a kid. You don't like kids.
I think that kid was doing just fine on her own. She was not involved in a bad plan, trapped in a city filled with zombies. She was smart enough to get out.
She was trapped in a city full of zombies.
Survived. No, she wasn't.
That entire town is overrun. That entire town is overrun right now.
They were all spreading out. Glenn was able to get away and walk into that building, and they were both able to walk out and walk to Alexandria. She much better than they were over in the town that she got away from, that they went back to. So Glenn has learned nothing from this whole ordeal, and that's kind of what upsets me about Glenn's character right now. One of my favorite characters, and there's no growth. It's just like they keep beating it. It's like, Glenn, let her go, let her be. Let people do stupid shit when they want to do it. Just don't get involved in the spray when it all comes down. What'd you think?
I didn't think it was. I didn't think that aspect was as negative as you did. I think that is who he is. He helps people.
You're right. But eventually people learn. People learn to stop doing certain things.
But good people don't learn to stop doing good things. And he's helped Rick get out of the tank, and he helped.
And Rick wanted to get out of the tank.
Right.
I don't know. At some point,
she's a child. She doesn't know what's best. She doesn't know what's best.
You're right. So let's move on to the next one. And unfortunately, it's still a child. The way that Carl ends up handling his situation doesn't make any sense.
Okay. You mean not telling on? Not telling on him?
Why would you not have said? Okay, we are overrun by zombies at this point. This guy has almost got everyone in the. Well, he's actually, probably did get people killed, but at this point, he's almost got people killed. He's pulled a gun on people. Now I understand that a teenager doesn't necessarily want to be a narc, but Carl's entire plan that we see unfold is to get him in another room, pull a gun on him, and hope that he doesn't shoot first. Again, it's just bad breakdown of logic, and it happens continuously through this episode.
But here's when you don't spill your guts. When your dad, who says, Carl, is everything okay, is holding a sofa trying to hold zombies from coming in the door. That was the wrong time for Carl to say, yeah, he doesn't like me. He tried to kill me that time. What's he gonna do?
You pull the gun on him right then and there and say, give us a gun in front of everybody. Because if that had gone sideways in that room, now Carl has to explain, by the way, everything was fine. I told you it was all, but that was a lie. And this guy's now dead. And which one, what's true and what's lies? Then the same thing in this, again, logic breakdown doesn't work for me.
Okay.
You've got Carol and Morgan over in this half-finished room where they've got one of the wolves, where Morgan has a wolf captured and is trying to free him.
Right.
He's taken the young doctor who is more of a nurse and has a, I don't even know if she's anything actually, but medical student, we'll say.
Sure.
Taken her down. He's locked her in the room with this guy, though. That's where I lost it on that one. Is I can understand that Morgan wanted to get the guy help because of his, he wants to help people and whatnot.
Right.
Why would you possibly leave her locked down there with them?
That's bad.
So it was just, again, and then Carol, who I enjoy, and Morgan, this is the fight I want to see. If you want to know what I want to see in this finale, I want to see these two go at it. But it also, again, logic break doesn't make sense that this is the point. I believe Carol is too practical to make this this is where it's going down. Unless she didn't know about all the zombies, but wait, she did. So Carol's a practical woman. And whatever's going on down there is bad, but it can be dealt with. I think that the character we have seen, whether it's put on a cloak, put some blood on your head and get shit done, it has to happen in a way that makes sense. And for her to go, this is where we're gonna, Alamo kind of thing, again, just didn't fit the character. So did I think that was eventually going to happen? Oh yeah, there's going to be a big throwdown. But again, prioritizing it just didn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. That it?
Well, I mean, this is where you say stuff too. It's a conversation.
Is it? Because like for the last 10 minutes, it's been just you ranting. But
I mean, if we go
I'd be happy
all
to.
the videos of all the GeekStorms, trust me, it's usually you. So this is me
is it?
trying to get
No,
caught
no,
up.
no, it isn't. Absolutely.
So, what did you think?
I think she would not have picked that moment to confront Morgan. I think she would have.
But is it a fight you want to see?
I think she would have used her. Well, sure, but that's Wolverine and Thunderbird. That's what everybody wants to see.
And then, the biggest logic breakdown, something we actually discussed beforehand. So, and I don't care, real world or not. Sean, you've never been in a situation, don't care.
Okay.
If at any point in time some guy's got a knife to your head, and I've got 3 people with me and we've got guns, I'm sorry, Mike, something bad may happen to you, but I'm not giving up the gun.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's never going to happen.
That's dumb.
You hurt that guy, I can guarantee you, whatever you do to my friend Mike, I am going to do to you 100-fold.
Right.
It will be ugly. It ends bloody.
Right.
So
I agree with you.
That scene, and it's not just The Walking Dead. There is kill them all. Makes my skin crawl when I hear it in any movie or TV show. And there is give me your gun when you are in an inferior position faced by superior. Doesn't make any. Now, if it had been Eugene, could have saw it happening. But the 2 women that were with Eugene, I don't believe for a second. I believe one of them actually just takes the shot.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, that was just so frustrating.
I agree.
Now, I did not see the 2 minutes about Into the Badlands, and I haven't bothered to go see it yet. I've been told all about it. To describe the scene, and what did you think, sir?
It was, I don't know anything about Negan, but it was just the three people that weren't in this episode are going down the road in a truck, and there's motorcycles that stop the truck, which is ridiculous, plow right through the motorcycles, but because they're in like a big tanker truck.
I've seen Any Which Way But Loose, and I know how this works. So
right turn, Clyde. But they didn't do that. They stopped. They got out, and the guy says, give me your weapons, and they say why, and because they don't belong to you. This belongs to Negan. That belongs to Negan. Everything belongs to Negan. So that was the thing. They just wanted to throw that name out there at the end.
Okay.
Negan.
You say it a lot.
Just once.
Oh, really?
I said all the extra Negans.
Okay. So there you go.
And he said Negan too.
Negan?
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's fine. Overall, it was a good episode. It just had, again, I really hope the second half of the season they get on track with something that's a little more believable. I hope it's not an entire season of them just trying to get from one house to the next. I hope they get this situation cleaned up fairly quickly. Zombies. Their zombies are weird. They can stumble around forever and not get anywhere, but they can also fit through one crack in a wall like roaches. It's just weird how some things work and some things don't.
Well, I mean, they're all in different stages of decay, and they're all different sizes. They all have different circumstances. I mean, I'm sure some of the ones that get pushed through something.
How quickly they got through that wall when that thing came down, and how fast it all flooded. I mean, really, I would have thought you could have got some of your better people, even Michonne and a couple other guys, to handle them as they came in. It should have been more of a trickle than just.
We don't have a good idea of how, and this is the show's fault. We don't have a good idea of how many zombies are around the wall or are right outside the city. I mean, we saw that overhead shot, where the whole wave is going towards the city, but they just want you to know it's more than a few people can handle. I don't like how often we see 2 or 3 humans like in the midst of zombies that don't actually get attacked or bitten. That happens too much. Where I'm this close and you just. I just have. Luckily, I'm next to the slow zombie. That does that.
There's a couple where you can just elbow some. Yeah. Some you just run by and you can bum rush. But then other times you walk around and you get bit somewhere.
Some of them have the strength to like grab a guy and bring him into him and then bite him. That's happened a couple times in the last few episodes. And I don't know. But it's TV. It's TV. It's the TVs.
So Hunger Games, final movie.
Yeah.
This ends the franchise. I don't believe we're going to see any more continuations of Miss Katniss Everdeen.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you get through it?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
Because you had a comfy chair.
I did have a beautiful comfy chair. We were Casey and I were in a theater that had just retrofitted, or was in the middle of a retrofit, but they had finished the theater itself, and it was all recliners that were 2x2 recliners, way fewer seats than were obviously in there before. So I assume their ticket prices will go up at some point, or they're counting on. They were also talking about, this is a Cinemark in Mishawaka. They were the lobby area was still going to be retrofitted in this new year, selling alcohol and more food and better food and stuff like that too. So they're really going the way of Alamo Draft House and things like that. There wasn't like a bar or anything in front of you as you're sitting back, and they had electronic recliners.
Okay. So people weren't going to be delivering stuff to the seating area.
No. Not that they talked about it anyway. But that is a real concern.
Nice theater.
Yeah, it was a real concern of being too comfortable in a movie. I've fallen asleep in much worse theaters than that one. But the movie itself was just okay. I'm not a huge fan of that series anyway. I think I like the first one, but then when I saw, okay, this is what that movie's going to be, and they did it 4 more times, it was just okay for me. It was watchable. They really rushed the end to me. They really went from her trying to get up to the Capitol and getting there, and then, there's an explosion, and then she wakes up, and then in the next scene she's healed, and the next scene we're planning the execution and all that kind of stuff. So they really rushed to me the last 20 minutes of the movie.
The first 3 acts, first 75% of this film is an action film with a little drama.
Right.
There is a little bit of paranoia sent in, but even that didn't really tip me off that she was in trouble.
Right.
The end when the bombs fall, that was so over the top though that I was like, all right, yeah, that's all true, I guess, because there's no way that this bombing sequence is the other guy. It doesn't make any sense that he would possibly do that.
You mean the other boyfriend?
No, the white, Mr. Snow.
Right.
White?
Snow, yeah.
There's no way he did that bombing.
This has gone on. This is 4 movies, so we're probably talking about close to 10 years. I'm guessing. However many long, we've had this constant back and forth.
About 2 years.
For all 4 movies?
Yeah. She went to the first Hunger Games the very next year.
No, I mean in our time.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. So in our time, we've got PETA, and you've got Gale. Okay, PETA and Gale, and they're both vying the entire time for her affection.
Yep.
Back and forth. And up until this episode, halfway through this episode, you really don't know which way she's leaning, and you really don't.
Yeah.
Until these bombs drop, okay, and somehow she knows. We don't know how she knows, but she thinks that Gale had something to do with those bombs dropping, and that's why she is aside from him.
There's a scene earlier where he is describing a plan to get a bunch of people together and then lure them further along for an ambush attack.
Oh, when they're talking about secondary explosion?
Exactly,
okay.
Which is exactly what happened.
I don't remember that. I don't remember him being in that conversation.
Yeah, it was his plan. He was talking to somebody about how this plan would work.
Okay.
But even I don't believe
that's a stretch.
I mean, that's what I got out of it.
No, I believe that's probably what they wanted to do.
Okay.
For me, the viewer, though, that's a stretch for me to remember that.
Oh, all right.
I mean, in the
that's
midst
fair.
of the movie.
But he even, I think she says, "Did you do this?" And he says something like, "I don't know."
Yes. Right.
And so that's your throwback. That's what I took away from it, was the throwback that, that plan that he had mentioned.
Yeah.
Overall, I kind of like some of the characters. I like that first 75%, that action movie with the pods and the different crazy arrangements of death and destruction that the city had put on, and the amount of money they'd spent and the amount of collateral and structural damage they were willing to do to their city was amazing. But the ending, just again, it was one of those twist endings that you saw coming. I didn't see it coming just because it didn't feel that way until it happened, and then it was like, wow, that was just, again, just beating it on the head with it.
Yeah, Casey and I were talking, and Casey talks during the movie. Oh my gosh. Casey and I were talking throughout it.
I can't go to a movie with her.
That we were thinking about that the Moore character, whatever her name is.
I know what you're talking about.
The redhead.
The leader of the resistance.
Yes, that she might be, working to get, or worried that Katniss is going to be, after when it's all done, Katniss is going to be more popular, so we need to put herself up there, and we got that.
And they mentioned that a few times, but we hadn't seen enough direct action for me to think it was anything more than troops being paranoid.
Right.
Until it happened, and you're like, oh, well, that was really over the top.
But, okay, so Donald Sutherland says they're going to be here about 5 days. And then all of a sudden, 5 days later, they have all this stuff set up around the city, the perimeter of the city, this kill zone that is hidden. And
I don't know how it works, so
that's silly.
That's just fantasy.
Right.
What I also thought, though, was ridiculous, and again, this is all just from the movies.
Sure.
I've read the first book, I've not read the other books. At the very end, we have the new chick, the president,
Julianne Moore.
Clarice,
right.
too. She's sitting there going, all right, so here's what we're going to do. With nothing but survivors of the Hunger Games.
Right.
That's only people in this council.
Right.
We're going to have a Hunger Games.
Right.
There's one person from the movie, I believe, might have at least considered it, which was the crazy chick.
Right.
Every other person at that thing, I don't believe that she ever gets to get out of that chair.
Yeah.
I think there would have been a Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It would have been all of them
in that room,
killing her
right
on the spot because she said it. And that's all it took. I mean, I understand these are based on a young reader's kind of novels, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. But it's when you do that kind of jump with a character that just doesn't make any sense. Now, maybe in the book it flowed better. Maybe there was more build-up. But as soon as you did that, you're like, there is no way that you're possibly walking away from this. You're dead. It's all good. I actually thought maybe Katniss would die at the very end, killing her, like them killing each other, and then somebody else, PETA becoming the president or something. But and then you got the little happy ending of we're going to go off and live together and blah blah blah. I will say, there was one dramatic scene. I thought she handled it well.
All right.
The cat scene. Towards the very end, after her sister has died, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of the entire arc.
I got you. Yeah.
The whole purpose of the arc was that she could save her sister.
Right.
And at the very end, that's kind of stuff that feels cheap to me.
Yeah.
It's the cheap pop. It's like, hey, GeekStorm, we're in GeekStorm.
Right.
Now we'll kill her sister, even though that's who she went to save. But she has a scene with the sister's cat, who she has hated since the very beginning. And I thought that, for these kind of movies, I thought that really showed a little glimmer of her acting.
She's all right.
I thought she did. It was silly. She didn't have another human, and she interacted really well. I believed that she was in pain. So we only have a couple minutes, but we talked about that movie, which was mediocre at best. But if you've seen the franchise, you're going to want to see them.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about Creed that much, because we haven't talked about it all yet.
Right.
And that's a phenomenal movie.
Creed was great. I didn't know what to think coming into it because I was worried that we were going to get. We've seen the Balboa character go from street thug to super success to down on his luck to like poor health and slow speech and all that stuff, and he didn't follow that degradation. He talked normally. He had use of most of his facilities other than being old age and maybe heart problems.
Did you see the Rocky VI? Just Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
It was a continuation of that.
Right.
What you've seen in that was where he was still at a little bit older.
Right.
But I thought, man, I'll tell you what, if Sylvester Stallone doesn't get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I think that Hollywood and the Academy hate Sylvester Stallone.
I think I think the best part about this movie for Stallone anyway was he just got to act like not like Stallone necessarily, but like as a human character rather than
he wasn't an overtop action
exactly
hero.
Yeah, and he was great at that. He was great in Copland. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was he was awesome in that, and he was just a dude,
Yeah.
He's
a great actor. It definitely makes you wonder what could have happened with his career. He's famous, he's rich, and he's well known for doing action films.
Right.
And I would admit that most of them I love action films, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder if he'd gone the De Niro kind of route. If he'd gone as a more serious, dramatic actor, would he have been able to keep finding roles.
Yeah,
and
hard to
so
say.
Michael Jordan, Michael B. Jordan, comes straight off the flop that is Fantastic Four, and quickly redeems himself. I don't know that we've seen an actor in a long time have that teeter-totter that we just saw with this guy.
What's the difference in the movies? Difference in the script and the production and
director.
You can put a great star in a piece of crap, and you can put a great star in even a decent movie, and that one's definitely going to shine. Just because the surroundings, he's got to work with, who's behind the camera, telling him, yeah, that's okay, do that again, or no, we got it in the first take, whatever they do. But he was really good in that.
Creed's a great film. It felt to me, the only thing I've got on this, it felt a little rushed. It felt a little short. It needed to have a little more room to breathe. The characterization between Rocky and Creed in this is excellent. The interaction between Creed and his girlfriend is really well done and created well. But there are only 2 actual real fights that we see in the movie.
Right.
There's a quick fight at the very beginning that's really not that impressive. But then there's one fight in the middle, and then there's the final fight.
Right.
And they're both handled well, but it just felt like there needed to be a little bit more.
And when you see the movie, watch this. There were a lot of, they got away from the formula, the in-ring formula of guys just trading blows, and you hear the big splash of celery when they hit each other and stuff like that. There were a lot of scenes in which they were in the ring and they let the camera roll and they filmed the entire round, the entire 2-minute, 3-minute round, whatever it was. And these guys they choreographed 3 minutes of fight, and they there wasn't a lot of cutting. It was the camera, like the referee does, moves as the referee around the fight and watch the entire thing without a lot of faraway cuts and stuff like that to reset or do whatever they do. So that was impressive.
It was well put together. And on a lot of levels, it was good. I mean, the acting is one of the most obvious things you can see, but the flow of the movie was really good. Right. The sound was really good. This was just a top-notch film for something that a lot of people, I think, thought was going to be a B movie at best.
Yeah.
Now, I went into it overly excited for whatever reason. I really had built this up for a long time, and usually when I do that to a movie, I come out let down. Could not say that happened this time. And the sequel is, they did such a good job of being subtle in this. The sequel is already done, ready to go. He's got his big villain. He'd already been hit by the guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, just, man, I'm really impressed.
I hope they don't.
The director did such a good job.
This would be a nice little cap if they just left it alone.
So, well,
unless they do one where Rocky dies.
I don't want to see that film. No. But there's just no point, I don't think, in that. So that would be almost too Mickey, kind of, So.
Yeah. Hey, where are we?
We're at Kokomo Toys, the finest toy and collectible store in all of Kokomo, if not the entire Midwest.
Easily.
I'm Sean Hilton.
You are?
Owner of Comics Cube. This is Michael Allen Harrison.
That's me.
The best Oompa Loompa that Geeks have ever had. We are Geek Street.
What?
We are on Geek Street.
Oh, we are?
We are GeekStorm. Check us out next time.
Check us out.